Right. So to get started,
Yeah.
4 quick questions. I'm going to put you on the spot straight away.
Yeah, sounds.
First one. What is your best business achievement so far?
Best business achievement. That's a tough one, you know. Curveball straight off the off
It's
there.
put you in the deep end.
Yeah, I'd probably just say, you know, the how far we come. Obviously, I started off it not even ever being intended to be a proper business. It was sort of a stopgap between leaving my employment and doing, you know, something else, and it just snowballed. So probably the biggest achievement is just how far it's actually come from there. Yeah.
Cool. We'll dig into that in more detail because I know I've got a bit of a background story, haven't I? So, what's your favourite brand? This will be a hard one. What's your favourite brand to come out of Liverpool in the past 5 to 10 years?
It's come out of Liverpool.
That isn't your own.
Yeah. You gotta, you know, look at the Monster X, and you gotta look at the Frequency as well.
Yeah.
I think they're two good brands. So I think next door, Beth, you know, impressed with that.
Yeah.
You know, just from something so simple, so small, but like, you know, the story behind it of like she needed something herself and turned it into a business. Those stories for me are
Boss, aren't they?
great. So
That's the whole point of getting people on the podcast.
Yeah.
And by the way, just to reference anyone listening and watching, you know about Beth, Boosted Beth. We'll call it.
Yeah, Boosted Beth.
That's how I got to know you. Obviously, Beth, I went to see Beth before the podcast, and then she said you need to speak to Tom, and that's how it's kind of gone from there. So shout out Beth. Third one, favourite place in Liverpool to relax?
At home.
It's a popular answer. A lot of people say home. Yeah.
I don't know, outside of home. The pub.
We were just talking about people. Denise started by talking about Guinness, Red Stripe, Cruz Campo.
Yeah.
What's one thing that people don't know about you that you wish they did? It's a big one, that one there.
Yeah. I don't really wish that people knew anything about me, to be fair. There's probably lots of things that people don't know about me, and probably lots of things that people assume about you from social media and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm not. I don't wish anyone.
Let's keep yourself to yourselves.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Tom, obviously owner of Camper.
Yeah.
The whole brand is something that I'm like personally interested in, which is what I said to you when I came to speak to you about it. Like just the whole, the building a business out of adventure for me is like a concept that I love anything around that. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to have a look around, and I was with you for about an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Stopped you from working for an hour and a half.
I'll put the invoice in later.
Yeah. Well, I need to sort of camper as well, so we're sorting that. One final question. If I was to say to you, what does the word brand mean to you? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I'd probably say connection. A brand is something that for me, is something that you feel when you see not just a logo, but I don't know, you know, a colour, you know, a feeling. Yeah, I'd probably say a connection that you make personally with a business.
Would you say how would you say like Camper does that?
Well, I hope that the thing that people feel when they see our stuff is that sense of adventure.
Yeah.
A blend of luxury, but also minimalistic, sort of stripped back, you know what I mean? Because I think that's where we try and position ourselves in terms of, you know, the camper vans that we build is, you know, you've still got the home comforts, but you are stripping out all the noise from your everyday life. Yeah. So you're going back to living a bit more simple.
But still nice at the same time.
But still nice at the same time.
Yeah, I was looking at when I was at your place, some of them fit outs were like literally better than house.
Yeah.
But like you said, it is stripping back because you could be in the middle of nowhere or...
Yeah.
I like it. So, who is Tom? That's probably the biggest question of all.
Yeah.
I know you've. I mean, how old are you?
36.
36. So, what was life for you like when you were younger? Like, what did it look like?
Growing up, yeah, good life, good family around me. Older brother, younger sister, mum and dad, still together. Yeah, come from a loving home. That's probably as much as I could say about my upbringing. You know what I mean? We didn't really want for anything, but also parents instilled a lot of good values and work ethic and stuff like that. Didn't really get everything handed to us on a plate. We sort of taught that you had to work hard for stuff in life. So yeah, probably sums up my upbringing.
What did it look like? So when you were looking at like what you were passionate about, like what you had interest in, what did life look like when you were a bit younger? What did you sort of see yourself doing?
I don't know. I didn't know exactly what it was that I wanted to do, but I always knew and always talked about, even as a kid, running my own business. And I think that sort of stems from seeing my dad build a business from the ground up. He started his business 38, probably for more 40 years ago now, and still running today. And listening to him sort of telling me how it was great to build something and to see it grow and things that I think that sort of just interested me, inspired me probably as well. But yeah, I didn't really know what it was at the time.
But you knew you wanted to build something.
I knew I wanted to build something, yeah.
So from like when did you realise that was actually something you were going to
do? Well, when I left school, I went into work for me, fella working as a sheet metal worker. And the idea was me and my older brother, we were going to take over that business. So, 10 years ago, we'd sort of got to the point where we were like, tradesmen, we could run the business, but because it was my dad's baby, he was showing no signs of ever stepping back. And like I say, he's still there today. My brother's still there as well. But it got to the point where it was like, well, he's not stepping back for us to take over and for us to then take control and build it. Excuse me. So then, it was more of like I need to just step away from that and just go and find something myself. And as I mentioned briefly just before, it never really started out to be a business, this camper van thing that I've got going now. It was, I left and the idea was to get into property. We looked at buying this building with a couple of mates of mine. It was a listed building. Long story short, I pulled out of that deal because it just got messy with it being a listed building. And I think I had like 2 weeks left in employment with my other fella. And I was just like, what am I going to do now? The idea was to then go and look at doing my own thing with property, but obviously, the time scale thing didn't really work out. It takes like 2 to 3 months to purchase somewhere. So I thought, I'll just go and buy a van. I literally went out on the weekend, bought a van and started converting it as soon as I left work. And yeah, as I said, that one sold. The next, built another one, that one sold. And the guy who bought the second one gave me another van to build. So that was sort of my first commission.
Yeah. So what, you build it and then he sells it or keeps it?
So I built him one, he come and bought it and he said, well, here's another van. Fit that one out for me as well. So he gave me an empty van. I said, turn that into a camper van. So then that's where I thought, bloody hell, people...
And then he paid you to fit it out?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
2017.
Was it?
Yeah.
We've done a lot in that. It's a relatively short period of time that if you look at the operation, you...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. It's, considering I didn't have a fucking clue how to build a van. It was just sort of, I'd obviously being a tradesman, you can sort of turn your hand to a lot of different things. I'd done kitchens, I'd done bedrooms, bathrooms, things like that. So I had a sort of skill set that I could sort of apply to building vans, but yeah, I'd never done it before. So it was just sort of...
So when you look at, because obviously, a lot of people, if you just look at your socials and they'll see the quality and everything. Yeah. But I saw it firsthand, like all the CAD drawings and everything. How do you go from being a tradesman, fitting out a couple of vans, to building multi-six-figure projects at times. Maybe 7 figure. I don't know the valuation of some of them, but some of them are extortionate, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like they're full. Like you rip the whole van out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it just probably over time grows with every van we built. You're all right. We'll do that a little bit differently. Yeah. And I think for the first sort of probably 5 years, it was more learning how to build the vans. And then, thereafter, sort of I know how to build the vans now. It's sort of about building, learning business and how to scale that business. Because I've sort of found myself in a situation where the business is heavily dependent on me, which is not what I set out to do at the start. It was, going into business myself, it was more... Not that I want to just sit on my ass and do nothing, but it's that freedom of time.
Yeah.
The idea is to build a business that can run itself, that can be sold or can, can generate income while you've got time to...
A bit more passive, just a little bit more passive.
Yeah, and I don't know if passive is the right word, just something that gives you a bit more freedom. Like my big thing in life is travel, you know what I mean, with my wife, my kids... And I wanted to build something that allows me to travel more, probably a little bit, camper vans. We get out in the camper van as well when we can. It's also went hand in hand with me passion of travel, you know what I mean? And what I was good at as well. So I'm good at building stuff. I love traveling, building camper vans. Sort of made sense in that respect. So... Yeah,
I think you can always tell. Like I meet so many different business owners, and I think the ones that have built a business from a passion and be able to build it into a business that makes money, you can just feel it. It just feels different when you're in and around the place. When you're in and around the business owner, you can just feel it's different versus a business owner that is just transactional.
Yeah,
where they found a product and they're just going to sell it because they're going to move on to the next thing. It's just a different feeling.
Yeah, and I think as well, it probably makes a difference with the end customer, I would say. Like, because it's there, I'm building something that's been, in a lot of cases, their lifelong dream. You know what I mean? I've had customers who've sort of come into money from relatives passing away, and they're going, right, I just want this. So you feel a sort of pressure, right? This is sort of like an extension of their mum, you know what I mean? And they're going to use this. Yeah. And every time they're in it, they're going to be thinking of the mum, and you know what I mean? So you feel that pressure of, like, this has got to be perfect for them. But then at the same time, it's like, it's so rewarding to do something like that for a customer. Whereas, obviously there's plenty of businesses out there that it's just a product.
Yeah.
That,
It's just that impact, isn't it?
Yeah.
That impact of doing it. At what point did you then realise this is actually going to be an actual business?
Probably at that point of that guy going, here's enough
something in it.
Yeah. If he's prepared to go and buy a van and leave it with me while I work on it, there's got to be more people out there like that as well. Yeah.
And did you ever, at that point, what was the mindset? Like, I could just do this and I enjoy it? Or did you think, I want to have people helping me, or want to grow it?
I think at the time there wasn't many people out there building vans in the style that we build them in, like a little bit more homely. So a lot of them were sort of like that old school caravan looking type, dark and gloomy.
Yeah.
So I think at the time I was probably a bit, I don't know what the right word is, so probably a bit full of myself, thinking I probably thought I was better than what I was, you know what I mean, looking back, because there wasn't many people doing it. And then when I was posting the vans that we were building on socials, getting a lot of attention, thinking, it must be even better than I think here, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that was sort of my mindset at the start. We're building these great vans, but then as time goes by, you realise, actually, I haven't done that quite right there. I haven't done that. So you just always...
You create this formula, I guess, don't you?
Yeah, you just... Yeah, thinking back to that first van, it makes me cringe. Like the way that I went about building it and the things I did in there. But at the time, I didn't know any better. You know what I mean?
And there might not... The thing is, it was a different time as well. So like you wouldn't have access to all the stuff you got access now, or even like the new products. You showed me a couple of products when I was at your place that definitely wouldn't have existed.
Yeah, no, there's loads, and I think over in recent years the whole van life thing has become more popular with social media and all that, you can make it look very glamorous, and it is in some respects as well. It is glamorous. Obviously, they don't show the part where you're emptying the bucket of shit out into the toilet, like. But parked up the side, like back doors open, all the scenery. It's become popularised, hasn't it? So,
do you think that's played into you growing, like, because you've grown a big social media audience?
Yeah.
Do you think that's powered that as well? The fact that people are aspiring for that lifestyle, and then obviously you're the one that's providing that lifestyle, really.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I say, even myself, you know what I mean. That's what sort of got me drawn into it in the early days. Is just fucking God, fucking hell, imagine that. So, it's parking up the side of the mountain and just having your home, everything you need just in that, just in there, Yeah, so it's definitely propelled. My business is along with everyone else's industry.
Yeah, because it's just everyone's sort of grown together, haven't they, and this bike. So what, at that point, obviously you're obviously still doing them on your own, doing a couple of camper vans. How many, maybe like?
Probably like 4 a year, maybe, 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah, making a living out of it, and it was doing the job. So what would it look like then to start thinking, I need someone to help me?
It was just the feeling of being overwhelmed with, trying to do everything yourself. You're designing it, building it, doing the social media, doing the paperwork side of things. You know what I mean? It just gets to a point you go, right, I can't do this by myself. I'm going to have to get someone else involved. So then, got a subby working for me, or working with me, should I say. And I just grew. But what I've struggled with hiring in the past is it's hard to find people who build camper vans. You know what I mean? Because if you find joiners, you can find electricians, but it's all different when it's in a van. So like I say, you can turn your hand to a lot of stuff, but it takes a lot of time for me it takes a lot of my time invested in each employee to train them up. Whereas I think now where we're at now, we've actually covered all bases with the team. Whereas we've got a guy who's great at the plumbing, we've got a guy who's great with the joinery side of things. Literally just took a lad on this last week. Yeah,
it was when I came to see it. It was Thursdays, weren't it, or something?
Mate, he's great.
We joked actually, didn't we? Because we said we joked saying you said he was great, but you said about a bad experience you'd had previously that started well and then ended up being a bit shit. And I said by the time we do the podcast, we'll see if he's still there. So he's still learning.
He's still impressing me. So, but he's gone from leaving school to working for a company building campfires. So he's been there 7 years, and now he's come to us. So
he's got the concept of it in there.
Mate, it's just like it's a breath of fresh air to get someone in and they just like they know, you know what I mean? They know everything they need to know from
the ones you need to keep hold of.
Brilliant, he's a good lad.
One thing you mentioned there that I want to pick up on is you at first you said work for me, and then you changed it to work with me. Now I know that was a subby, so that might be why, but that interests me because it's an approach that's always been on my mind. And when you're running a business, it's being comfortable with saying that somebody works for you, and then saying that somebody works with you. Does that go deeper than for you? Like how are you as a business owner? How does it feel when you say he works for me?
It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. No, it was literally because he was subby. He didn't work for me. He just it was.
Well, how do you? So when you come to culture, because obviously I can imagine like in the line of work you are having like a couple of tradies like in a place. I imagine it can foster a really good culture. Is that something that's
I'd like to think that it's a relaxed working environments. We all have a bit of a laugh together and all that. I would say touching on what you just asked me there about people working for me. I think when I first started out in business, I struggled with hiring people older than me who were sort of a bit more experienced. Like I struggled with the idea of an old fella coming in who's been in the game for years, even if it's not camper van related industry. If he's been a joiner or a property maintenance guy for 20 plus years, he's coming in and I'm saying, do it like this, do it like that, and I'm sort of trying to teach him. I was a bit apprehensive about it, and probably hired the wrong people in the early days because of that.
Who did you hire instead?
I had younger people, people who felt a bit more comfortable managing. But then I've since learned. So, yeah, there's only the new lads who's just started, who's younger than me now. So everyone else is older than me. So yeah, the experiences.
Yeah. So you've gone, obviously the first person was like a bit of a subby, so someone a bit to help across the board. When did you get to the point where you had to start hiring like specialist people? Because I know I mentioned when I was there, you had you got a marketing guy and all these other things. So how did that sort of come into play?
Well, the marketing guy only really came into play. I mean, not the one that we've got now, but we started the camper van competitions, didn't we? So,
okay.
Bit of a story about that. Shall I get it?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we moved into the premises we're in now, so bigger premises, and the idea was we bought 3 vans, we converted them, and the idea was to sell them once they were complete. And it was just on the tail end of COVID when we moved into this premises. So every fucking fella under the sun was building vans during COVID on the driveway. So the market got absolutely saturated with vans. We struggled to sell 2 of them. One of them went dead quick. It was fine. But then we struggled to sell the other 2. We're sitting on them and thinking, what can we do with these? We decided that we would start up a competition website of our own. Something that I'd looked into in previous years, but because hardly anyone was doing it then, I sort of bottled it and didn't do the competition, just didn't do it back then. So then, because I'd sort of researched it and all that, I had these 2 vans sitting there. I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the plunge and set this competition thing up. First one had its issues, let's say.
What kind of issues?
It was just... I'm going to put the blame on the marketing agency here, but we got a marketing agency involved, and the marketing agency pretty much let us down with one thing and another. So that one...
So we did get the awareness that you needed to sell.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a combination of a few things, because we ran into issues with our website as well. So probably a little bit of lack of experience on our behalf in terms of the website crashed because there's too many people going to it. Yeah. So then it was like, fucking hell, websites and things like that obviously isn't my strong point. So my head fell off, like, fucking hell, what's going on here? That one didn't do well, and then but we was like, right, we know what the issues were now. We can fix those issues, and next time around it'll be great. Next one, another set of issues. And in total, we've done 4. And the third one was okay. The 4th one was a total disaster. And the first 2, again, we were in the red light. We didn't.
So by disaster, you have obviously put all the money in to build the vans, and then you've not basically covered your costs.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And I think the biggest thing behind that was, or the biggest expense throughout all that, is the ad spend.
The marketing.
The marketing costs. Yeah. So
that was
like I say, it was just a disaster from start to finish. So we've thrown a line under the
how long
competitions. So the last one was last Christmas.
Oh, so it's still quite.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a bit of a silver lining on it, because we'd always wanted to do rentals. But struggled with the financing side of it, really.
In what way?
In sort of, if we were to build a van, if we're doing rentals, we want the vans to be our style of van. We don't want to go, let's take another motorhome company. Sorry, I'm waving it on the front of that camera there. God. So it's taking a bog standard motorhome company. They'll buy the van off the shelf. That van will be financed, and basically the rental income will cover the finance in and out like that, yeah. Where for us, we'd have to buy the van, spend the money on doing it up.
Which is a premium as well, because you're doing properly.
Yeah. And then it was how do we pull our money back out of that to then just start renting it and cover the cost.
Because it's sort of like when you look at renting and flipping houses, like that type of modelling, which is, I guess, where it started, really.
Well, exactly. So if you look at like a buy, refurbish, refinancing model in property, that's the way that we would like to do it. With a van, we buy the van, refurbish it, refinance it, and then you rent it out. That's essentially the same thing what you would try to do, but a bit different when it comes to the refinancing part of it, because couldn't get a finance company. We couldn't find a finance company to go, yeah, we'll give you the value of that van. We'll allow you to pull your money back out of that van, because it was sort of like, it was them verifying the new value of it. So we struggled with it. So anyway, jumping back to the competitions, at the end of that competition, that last competition, it was a local woman who won it. She was based in Allerton. So she won the van, but she already owned a T6 long wheelbase. The one that she won off us was a short wheelbase. Okay. So she comes to us and she's like, look, it's great, but I've already got a van and it's bigger. Yeah. She said, can you offer me a cash alternative? So I was like, well, leave it with me. I then approached the asset finance company and said, look, this woman's just won this van, blah, blah. Long story short, he said, yeah, we'll give you this amount for it. We basically raised finance against that vehicle, passed the money to her, and then we kept the asset. Yeah. So then that became our first rental. So it sort of allowed us to bridge that gap into the rental market as well.
It's the same sort of when the property ladder, isn't it? It's just sort of like you made your first one, now you're onto it, then you get more cash.
So that was the silver lining on the whole competition saga. But yeah, it was just so stressful running those competitions, and it's everything else suffered as well. So like when a competition was on, like my focus was always just on that, and everything else suffered because of it. So that was probably the biggest lesson I've learned is in business is to just leave that alone. Like I say, that was the end of last year. It was a disaster. It's sort of, we decided never again. Yeah. And this year it's just been head down, focusing on what we're good at.
The bread and butter.
The bread and butter, and trying to expand in other ways.
Yeah. And what other ways would that be in?
So we get the rentals. We've got an online shop as well, which is up and running, selling parts and electrical bundles and that for people who want to build vans themselves. And we've got plans for other stuff. But nothing.
I think what stood out to me the most, what I didn't expect when I came and I'd look round, was the operation side of it. Because obviously when you look at building a camp van, for me being, I guess, outside the space, someone building a camp van, I'm only really aware of people that do their own, really, at the starting point. And then obviously I've come to look at yours, and there's levels to it essentially. But then the operation behind it, like, even down to you was on about like CAD and stuff, and then all the new machine that you got and stuff like that. And then I was looking at the drawings, the diagram on one of the vans, that big van, and I was like, there's so much detail in that, like for the fit out. And then we were talking about the materials, weren't we? And I just couldn't believe how much was involved in doing it properly, basically.
Yeah, it's surprising, and it's we get people who walk in the door and they're sort of asking you for a price, and they've got a figure in their mind, and when you tell them, and I understand why, because you look at it and you go, look at the size of that there. It's probably half the size of my bathroom at all. Yeah. And you tell them the price, you go, they nearly fall over.
Yeah, so they're coming in going, I've got $5,000. And
it's just, as a comparison, I'd take a fridge, for instance. You can put a 50-litre fridge in, which is probably, not much bigger than you, probably double the size of your laptop. It's like that sort of size, and it'll cost the same amount as a big American fridge freezer double opener that you'd put in your house.
For what reason? The way it's made, like the weight of it.
But because it's more compact. It's it's 12 volts, so it's got a 12 volt compressor to keep just the technology in it. Yeah, probably a little bit of supply and demand as well. You know what I mean? It's for a camper van. So,
but the finish of them are top class as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, you don't like proper flooring, like stand-up showers, like you name it.
Yeah. I think that's, as I mentioned before, it's also what stands us apart from your average camper van company or your traditional camper van.
Do you have much competition?
There's plenty of people out there, but I don't know whether you'd call it. I don't feel like I'm in competition with anyone. You know what I mean? We are who we are. We do what we do, and I don't feel like anyone's taken any of our work off us, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's an abundance of it, isn't there? So,
well, when you say that, what is the abundance? Like, what is the demand? Like, how many people are coming? Like, for you, for somebody that's watching and listening to this and just doesn't have a clue, how many people are coming to you on average to fit one of these vans out?
You know, obviously that number fluctuates whether we're running any marketing, you know, or anything like that. But we could get 10 inquiries a week.
Really?
You know, a lot of the, you know, maybe 70% of them, maybe even more, don't really qualify. But, you know, the inquiry will come in, it could be you want windows fitting, it could be you want like a few repairs, you know what I mean? So,
it's not a full fit out.
Yeah. And sometimes, like I mentioned, they just haven't got the budget, or they're unaware of what a full fit out from us would cost. So then, you know, that's not really right for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's quite a lot.
Yeah. Even down to the I think what would be quite cool is if I think most people won't. But well, everyone wants a camper. We know that. We know everyone wants a camper. Everyone loves the idea of it. But what does that look like with you? Because what I love the idea of, like, for renovation, like, I've been renovating my house, so like all the finishes, and like I'm creative anyway, so I just love that side of it. And you showed me the Trello board, and it had like someone was picking like the leather and stuff like that. So what does that process look like?
A lot of my the process for me, if I'm deciding on the colours, you know,
So people would leave it up to you to.
sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, that one that we've got in at the minute, I mean, that's we're building that for a customer whose plans with that one is to just flip it.
Yeah.
So he's not really bothered about, it's not his personal preference. He just said, do it how you think it will look great and it'll sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He sort of put his trust in us in that respect. But for me, if I'm sort of deciding the colours and things like that, I always tend to start on Pinterest.
Yeah. Mood board.
Yeah, a bit of a mood board. Looking at like trends, like, you know, current trends in interior design and things like that, and, you know, just trying to bring relevant styles and put them into.
I think that's a bit of your edge then, like looking at what's working in interior design and seeing how it translates over to.
Maybe. It's always hard as well because you can see stuff on Pinterest or see like a lovely big kitchen and it looks great because it's very spacious. So you can sometimes you see something, you go, that'll look great in a van, but then you've got to think, actually it's going to be in a smaller space with less natural light. So you have to sort of be careful with it, because sometimes what looks great in a kitchen with a nice big open space can naturally look shit in a
I'd imagine
a smaller space.
How many do you reckon you work on at a time? Because during when I was there,
yeah, we can fit 3 vans into our workshop at any one time. So it doesn't tend to be more than that. I think if it was more than that, one would probably sit there getting nothing done to it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think threes.
Yeah.
Probably maximum at any one point.
Obviously, it's there's no blueprint for it, is there? Like building camper, there's no blueprint for it. You can't just look
the building camper
as a business. Like you can't just look at another business and go, right, that worked for them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. No. I think that's probably where we went wrong with the competitions, because you see other people doing it and you think, oh wow, that's great. You know, you do a bit of quick maths and you think that van's worth 100 grand. They're selling 300 grand's worth of tickets there, but then you don't take into consideration of what it costs to sell those tickets, and what happens if you don't sell all those tickets and this, that, and the other. So I think that's what we've realised, is just stick to what we know, and just slow and steady.
Is that the plan moving forward?
Yeah.
Do it properly.
Yeah, slow and steady. Just stick to what we're good at. Speaking to Kev the other day, and the way that he phrases, you know, we need our North Star, and that's that thing that we say, this is where we want to be, and everything we do goes towards that. Yeah, every decision we make needs to, in some way, point towards that North Star.
So what are you looking at now? Like, what would you say is, from a business standpoint or brand standpoint or whatever, what do you think is your main priority now that maybe you wasn't doing before to get to that North Star?
So I think at the moment what we're focusing on is streamlining the build process. As I mentioned, that everything bottlenecks at me. So it's building processes and that takes those bottlenecks out of it. Identifying the bottlenecks and then putting a strategy or a process in place that sort of
for it to scalability, really.
Exactly, yeah, that's it. So, limiting how customizable things are. So we've got our set design. We've done it now for a T6 size van. We've got our Atlas range.
Yeah.
So it's a pre-designed layout, pre-designed spec. You can change the colours, you can change the handles, you can change the size of the inverter based on how off-grid you want it to be. But we're limiting what people can choose, because when everything's different, when every van that we build is custom, it's all on me. And then I've got to communicate all those things to everyone else. And when there's, like say, if there's 3 vans on at any one point, it's a hell of a lot of work for me to process. And, it becomes difficult for the lads in the workshop, becomes difficult for me. So it's more focused on building a business that...
So how does that look now then? So if you were doing that Atlas range, are you able to like bulk buy stuff or bulk make stuff?
Exactly, yeah. So it streamlined the ordering process, because everything's on a spreadsheet and you go, we know exactly what we're ordering for that van. It would streamline the production of it, so the lads in the workshop know exactly. There's no questions to be asked, because they've done it before. They know how it's built. They know where everything goes. So it streamlines that side of things, and it streamlines the quotation side of it as well. You can imagine, can't you, if someone sends an inquiry to me for a full conversion and their requirements is so wildly different than everyone else's, it just takes a lot of time for me to work out a price for that. Streamlined.
So what is that North Star then? Obviously you mentioned about things being more streamlined and stuff, but you mentioned about like, this is where we're going. What does that look like for you? Is that something that you decide with the team, or is it something that you've got as like the business owner, like that's where I want this business to be?
I mean, it's communicated with the team. We want to be, just a brand recognised across, the whole industry, and recognised for the right reasons, of course, as well. So there's a few campervan companies. Well, the biggest one, I want to start dropping their name in it, but we've had a few of their vans back in our workshop where people have come in and said, I've got this van off such and such, can you have a look at it? And we go, it's shit. But what they're turning over is just...
So they're just doing it
astronomical, you know what I mean? They're a massive, massive company, but their quality isn't there. So we want to be up there with them, but
doing it properly.
Doing it properly,
yeah. And what do you think that requires from you? As the business owner, as a leader, like on a personal level,
I think one of the big things that's helped me is the team we've got now.
Yeah,
we say Kev, the guy, and he's the marketing manager, but he's a lot more than that as well. He's sort of been a little bit of a voice of reason for me as well, and
maybe.
A bit, almost like a mentor. Yeah, he's like I say, he's older fella, and he points out stuff to me that I probably wouldn't, or definitely wouldn't have picked up on. You know what I mean? Things that you sort of got your blinkers on a lot of the time. I mean, you're running a business, doing a million different things. He'll sometimes pull me to one side and say, "Listen, Tom, the lads are, you're doing this. Maybe just approach it a bit differently." You know what I mean? So he is a bit of a
that's a big thing that I say it all the time. You've never met Liam, my business partner, but he's the same. Well, it's sort of like the same but different, chalk and cheese. He's good at everything that I'm not good at. That's the whole point. He's very operational. I'm not creative. I'm not operational. I'm the one that's flitting around saying yes to all the opportunities when really he'll go, maybe you should think twice about doing that.
Yeah.
But does loneliness and being a business owner or sole founder ever play into it? So knowing that it's you and only you. Obviously, you have a good team and everything. I'm the same, but how does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a struggle, like, especially when it's not going well, or when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and the workload's a lot. And you sort of sometimes, or I certainly do, I start seeing other companies and you go, bloody hell, there's 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they look like they're coping a lot better than me. You know what I mean? They've got someone else to sort of help them out a bit. But yeah, it's quickly get over it.
Does social media play a big part in it? As in what you see on social media?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's not something that I spend a lot of time thinking about at all. It's just sometimes when you think, fucking hell, this is fucking hard work, this, and then you might see, a couple, and it's, I know that the wife does the design and the liaison with all the customers, and then the guy's doing all the work and the work. So I think, fucking hell, that'd be great. That would, if I could just not deal with that side and just focus more on that side, it'd be great. But,
could be worse,
social media's fucking tricky place in it with stuff like that. So yeah, I don't get hung up on it for too long. Like,
what do you think's played into you building such an audience for what you do? What do you think's really played into that? Been something that's given you an edge to build that audience? Because yes, people can build audiences these days, but like to build such a big audience under a what I would call a logo brand. So Camper, that's the account that they follow, isn't it? As a social media account, that's what they follow. Obviously, you're on that account, which I'm sure plays into it, but it's quite uncommon. Yes, influencers getting hundreds of thousands of followers, but what do you think's given you the ability to do that?
I probably rode the wave a little bit. You know what I mean? When there weren't, like I said, there weren't many people building vans that looked like our vans when I first started. Yeah, so I think I've sort of rode that wave a little bit in the early days. And I probably was on camera a lot more then than I am now, so probably built a bit more of a connection back then than I've got at the minute. But yeah, it's definitely something that I'll say working on. I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
But, I must do a little bit more of that. Try and build a bit more of a connection back up with our following, because that the number of followers fucking mean anything to me at all. It's the connection.
Yeah.
Because if you've got 100,000, 200, 300,000 followers, if some of them are halfway around, if they're halfway around the world and they're not seeing your content, which a lot of it, a lot of the vast majority of them won't see my content when I post it. It's the people you build a connection with, and how the algorithm works. I'm sure it'll put stuff in front of you that it knows you're interested in. And if I've had a follower for 2 years and they haven't reacted with my stuff, or I haven't posted for a while, they're not going to see it because the algorithm just won't save it to them, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not really, I'm obviously grateful for the numbers we've got on socials, but I don't get, I'm not really asked about it, to be fair. It's the connections, it's the people that are interested in people who engage with that concept.
And with you as well. I know
about.
You wasn't well for a bit, wasn't you? You were saying how like everyone was like worried about you. And
yeah.
That's I guess that is it. Obviously, it's an isolated situation, but that's kind of the connection you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you've built up with people.
It's mad as well, because every now and then someone will come in and go, "Oh, see you on YouTube." I'm like, "Fucking hell."
Yeah.
I never post on YouTube. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've got a bit of an account going there, but someone will come in and go, "I see you on YouTube. I want to buy a van, or I want you to give me a price to convert a van," should I say? And I just go, fucking hell, it's mad, because that video was probably sat there for a year.
Well,
now you're coming in now.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, didn't we? Like long form content. We was on about like it. If you do it right and you create good long form content, it sits on there for years.
Yeah,
that could be serving clients to you in 10 years.
Yeah. I could,
It's like the YouTube game that you're in, isn't it? Like I would sit there and watch you build a van.
I'd love for that to be my full-time thing, is just do interesting videos about stuff like that. But you've got to run a business.
Realistically,
you've got to keep the lads busy. You've got to do all the other stuff as well. But yeah, ideally that would be my thing.
If you could like monetize it either directly or through another means, and then be able to pull yourself out a little bit, maybe. Then you focus on that, and other people focus on like maybe get someone in to do the quote in, and something you'd like to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'd love Nottingham Morton to just get the kids, the wife in the van,
I'll do a little vlog
and just do van life for a bit, and just let the business run in the background, and while I'm out in the van generating
You say that's like
content.
your personal North Star. That's like the goal where you want to be in the future.
I would say at some point along that journey to the North Star, yeah, but not the end destination.
Why not?
I don't know. I think I would like to do something else at some point as well. You know, it's not like this isn't camper isn't me for life.
Be all and end all,
Yeah. I want to try new things, you know what I mean?
How do you see that transitioning from a business standpoint? Do you see it as like a family thing? Do you see it as like a selling thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Just the growth of the business, I think. Yeah, as the business scales, hopefully, you know, can sort of pull myself out of it, out of the day-to-day running of the business. I don't mean pull myself out of camper, but yeah, doing things where like you could, you know, where you're not working in it, you're working on it.
Yeah. You just needed like a bit of advice here and there.
Yeah.
Showing your face. And
so yeah, I think as the business grows and scales, that's the idea is to.
That's going back to what you said at the start, isn't it? The freedom.
Yeah,
that's why you went into business in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh well, fell into business.
Quite naive at the start.
Yeah, I was the same. I was the exact same. And then you have them days where you just think, this is tough. And then other days you think this is great.
Yeah, before you start, you think, I can just have weekends. I can, I can have a day off here and there. But it doesn't pan out like that, does it?
No, it doesn't. But probably my most common saying at the minute is, could be worse, couldn't it? Because sometimes you find yourself like moaning or being down about something. You think, you know what? When you write it down on paper, you're thinking it's not too bad, really, is it? But when you feel overwhelmed, you're down in the dumps, and that's when you start hitting that spiral that you mentioned of like seeing things and you think, oh, they're doing good, they're doing better than me.
Yeah, definitely. It's just perspective, innit? You know.
What is it? Do you think you enjoy what you do?
Yeah.
Would you class it as enjoying it?
Yeah, I'd say I enjoy it, but it also brings me an equal amount of stress as well. Like, but like you say, like what you just said, could be worse. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty positive guy, really. You know what I mean? A pretty positive outlook, and like everyone, I can get down, get overwhelmed, but you come home and the kids greet you at the door. Fucking hell.
I was going to say, how does that, because you're clearly hands-on, you're clearly busy, consume sometimes. How does that fit in with family life?
It's it's tough at times, but I've got a good wife who tells me to fucking turn it in if she get too consumed by work, and she sort of puts me on the stick and that. So it's like, say, 3 kids I've got. It's tough life, but
all young as well.
9, 4 and 2.
Got you busy.
So it's one of those. Work gets in the way sometimes. If we've got a holiday coming up, she'll get a bit frustrated with me because I'm sort of going, my head's up the wall here, I've got to organise this before we go. And she's, but at the same time, she forces me to stop.
So you need it. Yeah, I think you definitely need that as a business owner. Well, I think we're closing to the end now, but I want to try and get some. I told you it'll fly, haven't I? I want to try and get a bit of advice from you. So a big thing for me, and like we talked about Scanner a little bit, didn't we, when I came last time? And I've been speaking to him about this. Is like, obviously we've been opening awake and that type of stuff. Is what I've realised how much like creativity and aspiration and community are in Liverpool, but especially from the younger generations who. You see how many businesses are thriving, Liverpool-based businesses that are thriving. So it makes you think, well, with the rise of social media and everything, thinking, currently, but 5-10 years' time, how many young people now are going to be building them businesses, the frequencies, them Ontrex, stuff like that. So there's going to be people that will come across, it might be a clip on TikTok or whatever, and they've seen what you're doing. And it looks like the dream. And it looks like something they want to do. Maybe like what you said at the start, you know you want to build something when you're in school and whatever. You know you're going to build something, but you don't know what you want to build. You just know that you want to do your own thing. For those people that are listening and watching, what would be a piece of advice you want them to listen to?
I'd say do it for the right reasons. Don't do it so you can look like you're doing well, or like the watch, the car, or anything like that. Do it for something that makes you feel fulfilled. And if you've got that reason, then, you know, it'll be tough.
Yeah.
But it'll be worthwhile.
Yeah.
So.
If you bring it back to that why, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think we can finish on that.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on.
No worries.